See if I can get this right. Darling, you made me leave my happy home. Now you took my love and you're gone. Since I fell for you. How wonderful life is that you're in the world. I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is that you in the world. I hope that we can be together soon. I said, I hope that we can be together soon. Can you make it real soon? Oh, just giving some of that high vibration out. Lenny Welch, Since I Fell for You. A couple dudes have made it since, but let's go. A little bowl that gives and gives. Kind of running out of space. The blue argonite, baby. Sending all that energy of blue argonite there to everybody. Hit me in my protons, baby. All right. Start the show in with a bang. For those of you that ain't never checked me out before, wheel myself up. Damn wheels are locked. Can't get up close enough. So those of you ain't never checked me out before, I go by the name of Big Pontiac. And this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. This is my special host, Nobody's Fool, straight back from his trip. He had a good trip, so he's back. But I'm also the holder of the Sacred Infinite Ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. And I am also your galactic daddy-o, welcoming each and every one of the Chocolate Mountaineers to this galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. And you know what time it is right now? And I'm switching it up today. I've got some Moscato, Arkansas-made Moscato. Look at that pretty blue bottle. You wish you had one, don't you? Because ain't none of y'all got this. Unless you living in Arkansas, you ain't got this. This comes from Arkansas Moscato. And I open up and, Arkansas grapes. And then as I pour it into my glass, you really wish you was drinking this Arkansas Moscato. And you wish you were me. You wish you were me having Moscato right now. Look at that. This ain't that sparkling water shit. This is real Moscato from Arkansas. So you just wish you were me. And you wish you could taste Moscato right now. Look at that. Getting me all worked up. So pop them if you got them. And I've been doing the rig most of the night, so I'm still pretty funky, but we're going to give the Unicorn Luca a little publicity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ring-a-dingies. It ignites. And smoke them if you want them. Like, it was a movie. I can't even think of the name of the movie, but the motherfucker, like, smoked some shit. And he was like, oh, shit. The motherfucker done put some shit on my mind. Ooh, that was burning the pretty blue. So he working everything. And I ain't really much of a wine drinker. It's all right. I really got it on some humbug shit. Let me show you what. I'm going to tease y'all. Next time I come on, I got this. This came from Arkansas. Killian's glass. That's what I was looking for, and I accidentally knocked this wine over. And my daughter's mother was like, I don't want it now. I'm like, well, you didn't want it. It's been in the garage for over a month. So that's how I got it. I knocked it over. It didn't bust the bottle, but it depressurized it. So it is either drink it or let it go flat. So I decided to drink it. Tonight. Well, who's in what Chocolate Mountaineers? I'm gonna get some shirts made with Chocolate Mountaineers on there. Brother E, what's happening, man? Thank you for joining. PJ Allen, my main man, who's fresh back from Japan. Miss Jody, just Jody. Valerie, thank you for joining me. CWE, thank you for coming in. It tastes all right. It's better than that seltzer tasting stuff. I mean, it's got more flavor than the seltzer. Really don't. It's not bad. I would say, like, if you like sparkling wine, champagne, the sweet champagne, kind of very similar to that. Snow on the Bluff. Tampa Bay beating with 3-peat. Yeah, I saw Tampa Bay won tonight. New York, Edmonton won tonight, and there was one other game. I want to say the Rangers won. But yeah, I saw Tampa Bay, and we talked about that last night. I was telling you, Tampa Bay's tough. And I don't know when they showed that game. It didn't show it on my local TV. I don't know what it was. I didn't see any hockey, and I saw where it was supposed to be, but some reason that I didn't catch any of the games today. And I played about 7-8 games of Pickle Ball. So, but yeah, Tampa Bay's tough. I want to say the Blues play tomorrow night. I got to work, so I'm going to miss some of the game. You was just watching that? Snow on the Bluff? Okay. I got to watch that then. Snow on the Bluff. Okay. What is it on? What did it come on? I still got to go see Doctor Strange. I'm going to try to catch Doctor Strange maybe Tuesday if I can, because it's still in theaters. I tell you, it's killing. If it's still in theaters, it's killing. 3 weeks, a movie? Let's see. You know, I could have shot you and really probably got away with it. Like, I couldn't tell it just was a darkie walking through my door. They wouldn't have blamed me. They was like, hey, darkie walked in my door, I'd shoot him too. That's how they would look at it. Hockey team haven't three-peated since 8. Last team was Islanders. I thought it was Edmonton. That wasn't Edmonton? Oh, it's the Islanders since Edmonton? Because when Gretzky came, they won, 5? Something like that. When Gretzky came in the league, I mean, once Gretzky got traded to Edmonton, didn't they win 5 in a row? Something like that. So, Lightning is exposing number 1 seed Panthers. Shit. Outshot them again. They outshot them again. As I said, I missed that game, so I can't really say much. I did see the Golden State game, and I'll tell you this with Wiggins. I thought Wiggins should have made the All-Star team several times when he played here. I thought there was something against him, really, because there were several times where Wiggins should have made the All-Star team. He didn't get the nod. Now, of course, in this market, people don't vote a bunch of times, because it's a popularity contest. Don't open that fridge. It's not on. Don't open that fridge. What reason you got in there? Don't go in there to just get some sauce. Yeah, don't. There's no more. That's my last one. So unless you got some money, that's going to cost you $10.
You got these from the dollar store.
I don't care. You don't have one right now, do you? Do you have a bag right now?
Yo.
No, you don't have a bag right now, right? So if you want that bag, you got to pay $10 because I got a bag. That's my bag.
I understand how supply and demand
works. That's how it works.
Right. I will remember this.
You're gonna pay me $10 for that bag.
Pay you $10.
They put the bag back.
I'll remember this.
Okay.
I'm gonna remember this.
Look in the closet. There's a bunch of bags in the closet.
They're not. No, I need a big bag.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Take that ugly shirt you got on, tie up the end, and then put everything inside that ugly shirt you got on. That looked like a shirt that one of Natalie's little shirts or something.
No, it's not. It's for being strong.
I think you stole it and you just wearing it because you stole it and it's too small.
I don't. What? Steal.
How did you get a tiny shirt then?
I don't know. I got it from Mom.
I don't care. You can have a bag. I'm just fucking with you. You got it from Mom's. What? That was the baby shirt? What, the little 4-year-old boy? You took his shirt?
No, she gave it to me.
Oh,
I took it from Brennan. I might have took it from Brennan.
Yeah, it looks more like Brennan's size.
What do you mean? Brennan's wears a double X.
Yeah, he does. He wears my size.
I wear an XL, a large.
Paige? You wearing his girl's top. Ooh. You wearing one of Paige's tops and shit. That does look like some shit a woman would wear.
No, nigga, it's a white beater. It's an athletic white beater.
Yeah, you got with a Paige shirt on. That's what it is. That's why it looks so tight.
Really?
What does she wear? Small?
That is small.
Looks like it's small to me. I want people to see this little ass shirt on your big ass. Come show your big ass. No, don't take it off. What are you taking it off for?
I'm taking it off.
What are you doing? Oh, you changing it. Oh, is it wrong side? It's still wrong side.
No, I was trying to look at the tag.
Oh, that's why I was looking so strong on you. You had it on backwards. You still don't know if it's on backwards or not. How many times
I
you
was trying to look at the tag, bro. This is front.
Are you sure? Look out. No, bend down so the people can look how big. Look how little that shirt is.
It's a regular ass.
Look, yeah, don't try to stretch it out. Look how tight that shit is.
It's baggy. What are you talking about?
That shit ain't baggy. That shit tight.
Baggy. What are you talking about?
Get out of here with that tight shirt. That shirt young as hell. That's some junior high shit.
Nigga, what are you talking about?
You got a junior high shirt on. Robin Junior High. You done ganked some junior high.
No.
Let me get the little. I like that little shirt.
None of that was funny.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
He got a cameo on. Yeah. Baby man in the building. He calls you nigga. Yeah. That's what he talk. Hey, King K. Gay. We straight up talk, clowned each other. We see how they don't say that man shit. They don't tell women man. He got the G unit. Hey, PJ said you got the G unit tank top. He said you got the G unit tank top. He sure does. Hey, what's happening, Lorenzo? How dare the refs call Wiggins dunk off
so
the foul?
Niggas think they funny now, huh?
Yeah, PJ got you.
G-Unit? Stupid ass.
It's not a cabbie. Yeah, that Wiggins dunk was masterful and sweet. That shit. I mean, but he was playing like that here. Man, you have to go back to my Facebook page. Like his second year. I don't know, I was sitting behind the bench and I had a bunch of pictures of him, but he'd been playing like that. Now, as I said before, he's a cat that you wonder why he don't dunk shots and they roll him out. They got him a lot like that where he could have clearly dunked it and he shot off the backboard and it did the boom. But that athletic talent always been there. Always been there. And now the pressure's off of him that was put on him and him for a minute and then Cat came. And so I thought he always had the talent. That tip dunk was nice. I'd rather him play like that than hit them threes, you know. So find me in the club, pocket full of bud. And that makes me think of, I was just Sub-Zero was talking about just songs and stuff, and I had wrote down because I didn't really want to mix it with my high vibrational songs. But what did they say? Die motherfucker still. Y'all remember that one by the Ghetto Boys. And the other one was oh, here we go. Do you want a rapper sell coke? Brothers like me ain't never broke. Too short. Gretzky repeated twice with the Oilers. That's what I thought. That shirt he got on was a big ass bib. That's what it looked like. Because when they left to go to Canes, I looked at him like, you wearing that shit? That's what Michael said. Michael was like, you wearing that shit outside? Yeah, I saw that. Looney is the X factor, and Wiggins banged on Luka. He matched up well with him because he's so athletic. But did you hear what what is his name? The ex-coach said. Did you hear what he said about Luka? He said next year Luka got to get in better shape. Now you telling me that here's this coach looking at this dude, and this is in the playoffs, and he's saying this dude ain't in shape? Van Gundy, remember? Did y'all catch when Van Gundy said that? Van Gundy said Luka's got to get in better shape, and I think maybe stronger. I remember all them cuts. Oh yeah. It's like Wiggins forgot about his height. He plays too soft. Sometimes, but I just think he plays. But like he'll kill you. Like they said tonight, his first playoff game with 27 and 10. He had 11 rebounds, but he would play like that every night. He would play like that every night, but it wouldn't have an impact on the game. He would make those same kind of plays to give you the same 20 and 10, but it really didn't impact the game. And I think that's where he's maturing his game. His great plays are impacting the game. And like Lorenzo said, when I looked at it, I'm like, how do you get dude fouled him? So I thought that was real bogus of them. That was a horrible call. And they showed that the Jewish faith commissioner was there. I've been embarrassed by my refs making that call on that play. That made no sense. Again, we had a bunch of manipulated shots. I just, as I said before, if you report too much on stuff, people don't pay enough attention to it. And so that's why sometimes I just, like, not even once a game, some games, because it's just, you have to see it. It's out there already. I put in, even on this channel, but the people that watch my other work, I've been putting this out there about basket manipulation since easily since 16. I'll say 16. As I said, the best one I ever did was when Green hit one when he in 16, and it showed the full rotation. It showed the rotation stop and the ball dropped in. That was the best one I think I've ever done. It showed the full rotation and the ball stops and drops in. And don't you know, I caught that play on the replay and they cut a little bit of it out. Because the ball goes on rotation and you can see where some of it cut out. I'm like, wait, I kept I'm like, this is different because I caught them before. So they Kevin Love vibes. Oh, I watch Kevin Love play a lot. Luka gonna be wore out at 30. You know, I'll say this, and I noticed I'll even say Tony Parker and Ginobili is the perfect examples of that. Probably Tony Parker better because Tony Parker started playing pro ball in France like 14. Luka started playing pro ball in Slovenia, where I think that's where he's from. Somebody got mad. I called him Eastern Bloc. Okay, I think it's Slovenia at 13. Tony Parker was one of the, like I said before, Tony Parker's probably a smaller Nate Archibald as far as quickness. Limited because no outside game. Very limited because he had really no outside game. But taking dudes to the hole, shooting the high up shots like Norm Nixon would do, except he wouldn't use the glass. Norm Nixon was the best at getting at high banks, but Parker was good at just getting to the cup and just shooting it over everything.
Forgot my phone in the whip.
You know, they would probably not be mad me shooting a poor European person either walk in here. So keep that in mind. You better knock like and let me know you're coming in.
I got you.
Because I think they wouldn't mind that either.
Right.
I'm gonna charge you to come back in though. I like Kevin Love though. But yeah, I guess my point is we have kind of saw where some of these European cats they age quicker because they played pro ball and there's a physicality to playing with men. I mean, there's no way to get around that. There's a physicality of playing with men. Now, did they do soft gloves with Luka? It doesn't appear like when he played in them pro leagues, they really did that. What's his name? The Timberwolves drafted him. He played guard. He bounced around the league. That guard. All right. Spain benched him a lot. His name will come to me at one of y'all. Ricky Rubio. Remember, Rubio didn't play in that one Olympics. It was like the Olympics of maybe 16 or one of them, maybe even going back further, like 12 maybe, or the 8 Olympics. I can't remember, but he was on the Olympic team and he wasn't playing. And so they kind of held him off a little bit to not take that beating. But that's what we see a lot in Europe compared to like LeBron and them, compared to a lot of the American players that went out of high school. But again, these guys started playing pro ball really early in their lives. They seem, and Ginobili was another one, they seem to break down a little quicker in age. Almost the way, as I talked about, Larry Bird broke down very quick. But again, the transfer hurt him. What is that? Yeah. Adam Silver owes the Nets a chip. Well, it won't be this year. And he got punked out by Jimmy Butler. Yes, he did. He got punked out by Butler. I saw some football manipulation on that Brady documentary, them slowing down, letting people run past them. Oh yeah. I mean, football is easy to see. I mean, Cam embarrassed the league. Cam really did embarrass the league. And then the next season they hurt Cam. As I said, they hurt Cam on purpose. J.J. Watt's brother, that Watts that plays for Pittsburgh, he hurt Cam on purpose. But yeah, it's that's why I pointed out in the USFL because it's clear there. It's more of a script. Wiggins versus Butler in the finals. That's what it kind of looks like. And as I said, they love 6'6" dudes. They really do. They love the dudes at 6'6". And it's going to Dr. J. Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor is the first prototype of that 6'6" star. And they have always kept a dude in that job because Elgin Baylor held it until Dr. J came around. And really, Connie Hawkins would have been a little bigger of that. When Connie Hawkins didn't come into 68, he was supposed to come in like 64. How do you feel about Donaldson being called a racist for calling Tom Anderson Jackie as in Jackie Robinson, even though Tom Anderson said he was Jackie Robinson years ago? Donaldson, oh. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not aware of this story. Just reading this now. I mean, it's dudes that, if that's their title, that's what you call them. Because as I said, Jackie Robinson was a destroyer as much as an innovator. Because he wasn't needed. What he did wasn't necessary. But if that the name fit, I'd have to look into it more. Wow, thank you for sharing that. ESPN pushing that Donaldson is a racist narrative. Okay, I got to see about this. Which Donaldson? Who's Donaldson? Baseball player Donaldson? Yep, Slovenia. They don't even have him as Mav on the DraftKings. Wow, they don't even have him as a Mav. Wow. Okay. Yep, Slovenia. That's what I thought. But I'll look into this Donaldson stuff. Jimmy was in Minneapolis. He made Butler and Towns look soft. Yeah, he did. He punked them. He was Jimmy Butler when he came back, when they forced him into camp. He wore his Rolex. He wore his Rolex watch while he was hooping with him. He didn't even take his like $35,000 watch off. He hooped with him with his watch on and was dogging him. Yankees lost to White Sox because rigged. Okay, yeah, now that was the national game. That was a national game, I noticed. That was a national game. Ricky Rubio. Yep, thank you. Thank you for Rubio. Yep. Dang. He went off on all of them, played with the second team. Wow. Allen still balled out. Hell, that's how he got the name Jimmy Buckets. Yeah, and I saw a few of his games when he was here. I think it was stupid of Thibodeau to bring him here. I think Jimmy conned him into thinking that he would re-sign with them. And Thibodeau, and again, it's all rigged, but it just, what they gave up wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it. What they gave up for the small amount of success, knowing he could go somewhere else, showed that Thibodeau as an executive is stupid as hell. It was stupid as hell to give up those assets. Facts, they love the 6'6" dudes. Yeah, absolutely. And that goes back to Elgin Baylor. And Elgin Baylor's more like 6'5", but it's that kind of player. You know, Donaldson for the Yankees. Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. Okay, thank you. Baseball player. Okay, I'll look into it. I am black. What Donaldson said wasn't racist. Okay. Melanated is the better word. Black means dead and low. Bleak. You would think Jackie Robinson is a compliment. Nah, it ain't no compliment. They know what he did. You know, they know what he did. As I said before, a lot of the European owners really didn't want to merge because they was making so much money off the Negro leagues doing double headers and renting the stadiums out to them. Where their team might not be having a good year, they could count on them Negro League teams selling out every time they was in town. So that's why a lot of the European owners was like, hey, they doing good business with us. And really, if you think of from 1947, TV came in the early 50s. So really think about if they could have held on for another 7, 8 years or even 10 years. Or even if we say from 47 until the 60s, they would have got a TV contract showing Negro League games by 1960, if not sooner. If not sooner. Because of the talent and the ability of players. Just think if Hank Aaron, Ernie Banks, Willie Mays, and a whole bunch of others stayed with the Negro Leagues. And a few Negro League teams was able to secure stadiums. We'd have a whole different thing. The thing. We'd have a whole different kind of power. Which they would have been forced to try to merge the Negro League teams instead of doing away with them all. That's probably what they would have been forced to do. Which would again gave those teams a little more power overall. So, yeah, it ain't a compliment. Well, at least we don't look at it like that. Um, he plays third base. Okay. I think I know who you're talking about. Josh Donaldson, he has always been a Danny Ainge type dude in baseball, but this story is light about Tim Anderson blowing shit out of proportion. Okay, the Most High. Thank you for adding that. Yeah, I really didn't watch ESPN today to hear none of that. I say black is an African. I don't know what African American is. Unless you was born in Africa, you ain't African American. Yeah, what he said wasn't bad. Okay, I'll check it out. Unless you was from Africa, then you ain't African American. That's some bullshit Jesse Jackson made up. That's why I'm glad my shit say colored, because that gives me some ties to the land. And when this shit start coming down, because what Atlanta showed is gonna happen. I mean, it's gotta happen. They're gonna end up coming off of some bread or land. It's gotta happen. They're gonna come off of one or the other. And I'll say this: don't be all afraid, and don't look like a soft target. That's the real thing. Know your surroundings. Pay attention. That's what it is. I mean, it ain't like it ever ended. I mean, when has it ever ended? It ain't never ended. The Reconstruction, the wars, it ain't never ended. So your mind always has to stay, and it's not being paranoid. It's just not being a soft target. Bro, you just different. Wasn't bad. You just different. Hey, yeah, I don't say African American. Yeah, what's my ancestors then? If your ancestors is from America, then you are from some Eastern tribe more than likely. If you say you black and your ancestors are from America and you tie your ancestors to anywhere down south, more than likely they come from the East Coast. Even the people on the islands, Brother Darkman X, people from his people are from Jamaica. However, what they did on a lot of, especially North Carolina, is they took a lot of people out of North Carolina and took them down to Jamaica. So you are connected to some tribe that came from the East Coast. That's where the majority of what's called black folks come from. They don't come from Africa. There ain't no slave ships. At max, the Africans that came in North America at max can't be more than 175,000 people. That's it. Now, I said before, if you look at Brazil and you look at Guyana, they're the closest. So more people came from right there. But even those numbers are inflated. I mean, they didn't need to bring people when they captured these people, and then our own people sold them to other tribes. I am from Georgia. Oh, you from Georgia? Then you definitely come from one of the tribes. Just look into your peoples. Look into your people. I've only met one or two people that really can trace their people back from sales that came from Africa. I've only met two people. To me, ebony is black people and white people is ivory. So what y'all start seeing those names, that's what I'm referring to. I feel you. Yeah, they ain't. The white is a buffer thing. Yeah, just check into your people, man. I'm not saying this just without any knowing of where people are from. I'm just saying, if you look at the majority of people in America, that Africa shit is some made up shit. That shit is made up by people from England. They know who they ran into when they first came here. And that's why we don't like the natives that much, because the natives lie. The natives lie about this stuff. The natives know the truth, but the natives think we're going to cut into their money. That's why when this information really started cutting off, a lot of these natives started cutting brothers off the rolls. Because they're like, wait a minute, these people are going to come after everything. And if we don't start cut off now and start denying them now, I said the first time I heard this is let me see, LC, let me see. Probably last time I saw LC was when Keelan was born. So 2001, 2002. LC had been my friend since 85, 86. And in 97, 98, we were just sitting there one day, and I knew his father. Knew all his family, but I knew his father because his father would coach us sometimes in the mid 80s, the pro league. He said, my father was born on the reservation in Oklahoma. And I'm like, really? I didn't know people like us was born on reservations. He was like, yeah, so he's on one of the rolls. Because if his daddy on the roll, he's on the roll. So, but and the Tale of Tears, you know, a lot of melanated people moved to Oklahoma too. Just do your own family research. And there are people out there that can help you. As I said, if you want free research, Tasha Z does names. She does names. She got an old video that does names of Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, maybe even Tennessee. But she does this for a couple of days, and you get the names. And the names, that's where you start. That's where you start. Other than American, you would have more European than African. Other than American, you would have more European than African. You would probably have more Europeans somewhere in the line, depending on what state you're from, but not necessarily. Not really necessarily. But yeah, you would tend to have more European before African, definitely. It just wasn't the numbers of Africans. That's one thing I'll say. Turtle Gang got the manifest. He got the manifest that shows you they would bring 2 or 3 people. As I said, the slave trade was opposite of what they taught. Columbus tried to take 20 people back. All of them died but 5. And you can look up the picture of Columbus returning to Isabella and Ferdinand. Look up the picture and look at them people, and you tell me what those people are. They ain't red people. They ain't red. They are brown people that came from the islands, and the islands was all melanated folks. The island hopping. I mean, what did I tell you? There's in Australia, New Zealand, all the islands. Malcolm X said it. You do not find an Aboriginal that is European. They're not Aboriginal to anywhere. They ain't covered even in Europe. They're not Aboriginals in Europe because all of them came from somewhere else. The English didn't come from England. They was Germans. The people sitting on the crown in England is Germans. So they all are a scramble of something else. And I'll say this for Brother Bomber. They are probably the snake people related to the reptilians, more than likely. They are, the ones they put in charge. I want to answer that, though. I do want to answer that. Danny, no one ever talks about Schindler's List. The war was never really over. Well, I'll say this about Schindler's List, and maybe this is baiting me, but Schindler's List tells you how the Jewish faith people came into Germany. If you look at one of the generals, when they're at the factory, he breaks down the history, how they came to Germany, and they took again, these aren't people that have ever tilled the earth. These are people that are musicians, artists, these kind of jobs, jewelers, tailors, not people that work the land. And that's kind of what he says in Schindler's List. But no, I mean, the Nazis did not lose. They didn't lose. They just changed sides. Some of them went to Germany, some of them went to America. So the war, yeah, technically, no, the war never really ended because the Cold War went into the 80s. I mean, I think Nick Taylor told you, when Nick Taylor was in the Army in the 80s, it was still Cold War. They'd still kill you for being out there if you ain't supposed to be out there. That was still Cold War stuff. So that shit really didn't end until then. They still got troops in Korea. You think they in Korea to check the North Koreans? You think they in Korea to check them? No, they're in North Korea to check the Chinese. That's who they in Korea for. They ain't got nothing to do with them North Koreans. They ain't worried about the North Koreans. They want enough troops over there to deal with. They got to deal with them Chinese. They got strike forces in Korea. That's why they keep those number of men there. So my black ancestors are from the East Coast. More than likely they are. Yeah. As I said, look at Tasha, go into your names. You can even, email me. And y'all talking about y'all know my email. I don't hear all these excuses. I ain't heard from nobody. Y'all know my email. I'll put it in the credits again. No, I forgot yesterday. But yeah, send me your email. We'll look at the names. But just look up Tasha stuff to see if you see the names. Because like my family Macon, and I was telling her, and she was like, more than likely, start checking Mississippi. She said, because a lot of people that lived on the coast end up going to Mississippi because the land was really cheap as they started pushing some of the people out of Mississippi. And so a lot of East Coast Indians trying to get away from them East Coast peoples went into Mississippi, and they wasn't bothered. That's why I've said before, we got a picture of my great great grandmother and my great great grandfather. My great grandmother is a very dark looking woman in the picture. My great great grandfather about like me, about like me, maybe a little browner. Like my dad is a little browner than me. And this is 1848. When they tell you that they got, these is melanated people taking pictures dressed up in 1848 during slavery. Now, Rachel Brewer is my great great grandmother's name is Rachel Macon, but she's very dark. I mean, like his hat, dark skinned woman. Now you telling me they're just letting any people? So it's not what everybody thinks. Who's winning the NBA title? Mitchu, thank you for joining me. Chris, thank you for joining me. I'm thinking that the Warriors, which I said it was going to be in the finals. My great great grandfather is Native American. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you go. Right there. Tells you a tribe. I got that bat phone number. There you go. Definitely. So, but a great day today. I'm telling you, I got the old man-itis. I told y'all, I sit there and talk shit about my habit that I drink a couple of cups of coffee and I used to take a nap. So, didn't do a lot. Got up around 10:30. People calling me, bothering me over stupid shit. I hate that. When I get a little time to sleep, I'm getting stupid ass calls. And so the last stupid ass call was 10:30. I ended up getting up. So I came in here, drank 2 cups of coffee, and probably they 4 cups of coffee, really. I drink these big ass glasses. Now, this is me. I drank about 4 cups of coffee, probably. And I ate a bowl of cereal, and I was sitting there listening to Quantum of Science, and I was sitting there like this, and I'd put the phone up, and like the phone, God, where was the phone? The phone was like right here, but I was like, I was sitting there like listening like this, kind of watching TV. You just put your arm on the edge of the couch and shit, the arm of the couch. I'm like this. Next thing I know, my head just like I must have just really fell asleep hard. The only thing that woke me up is I hit the phone and I knocked the phone on the table. That woke me up, and that was just an invitation to stretch out on the couch. So I'm sitting there saying I don't nap, and I was sitting there watching TV, and next thing I do, I was just like bloop, and luckily I would have just fell asleep probably like this, but I hit the phone and the phone fell and it woke me up. But I went and played pickleball. Hey, the kid, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. So, but I played. The pickleball is getting tight. I mean, really, a lot of mistakes I made the other day, I didn't make today. I mean, yeah. Still, like I noticed a lot of people like to slice the ball or spin the ball on their serves. I always step up on them because if you catch it late, you tend to hit it and it'll spin off your paddle and you'll miss a little bit on it. So the problem I had with it is though he would put it low, and when it got low, I wouldn't bend down and lift it up enough to return it. So I knocked a couple of them in the nets, but I modified, played pretty good today. I'm thinking about playing in the morning. It's mild up here. It's mild. Everybody was like in sweats when we started playing pickleball by the last game because I played like 4 quick games and the people left. Me and one dude stayed. Then a bunch of women was coming to play together, and of course they didn't want to play with me and this dude. So I played maybe 3 games with them before I left. So I played 7 or 8 games, and I was like, I can go mess with my daughter. And I went and messed with my daughter. I had to give her medicine. And her mother was cutting the grass, and her mother kept looking at me like I was going to cut the grass. I'm like, I'm not your man, baby. I don't live up in here, so I'm not cutting your grass. So she kept kind of hinting, thinking I was going to cut the grass. I'm like, no, baby, I'm not cutting the grass. This is your place. So I shot baskets with my daughter for a minute. On my genealogy line, my mama, grandma, my dad's side, I found people from England, Virginia, South Carolina, Mississippi, Furthest west was in New Orleans. Okay, that sounds reasonable. That sounds reasonable. Yeah, the only really line of now of course Irish, and I mean Irish, was one of the ladies married a melanated man. Told that story before he got murdered, but he had one of my great grandmothers before he got murdered. But he got murdered from her marrying him again. Irish people was looked at swarty. Irish people wasn't looked at as the same as them Germans that was up in England. That was controlling England. But and I got, man, can I reach it? Where is it? Maybe I'll do that next show. I'll grab out the papers. My cousin really did. My brother finished it, but my cousin put a lot of it together. So next show I'll get that out, and I got the name and dates of everybody. But Elizabeth, which was my great grandmother, she was melanated, but they traced some of her family to German. Because someone I was talking to, I was like, where they were saying she was Dutch, and she was like, well, there was parts where she said she was probably German. She said she's probably German because there's parts of people that were Dutch that still spoke German. So, but that she was in Michigan, we still, there's not really a lot of her line. So Elizabeth though, and I'll tell you, my grandmother gave me the picture of her grandmother, and I was going to get a guy to copy it. I found a dude to copy it. Well, my ex and I was arguing and stuff, and I had the picture like in my bedroom, and my son was 1 year old, and my son, I mean, this is a 100-year-old picture, and my son stuck his hand through it, and he put a big gash in it. So now I had not only had to take it to a place to get it copied, I had to take it to a place to get it repaired. And I took it to a place to get it repaired. I kept the frame, and I went back to pick the picture up and pay for it, and the shop was closed down. Now, I ain't saying that he just took the picture because it wasn't valuable, but yeah. And so I ended up losing it. So I was kind of heartbroken by that. My grandmother never got on me, but it was like my son poked a hole in it. So, but not around the face area, so it was still savable. But my uncle, one of my cousins has the picture too. Because it was a picture of husband and wife. My great-great-grandfather was in the Civil War stuff, and then his wife. And really what's interesting about the picture is, and there's copies, I got copies, but what's interesting is they would take pictures, and then after they would take the picture, artists would go in and highlight the picture with pencil. It's kind of interesting the way they did it. So it's picture, but it's highlighted in pencil too, so it's a little bit of both. But both pictures, but he's with his Civil War cap on, and his picture. What's interesting is we all have the same eyes, but I look more like his brother. Well, I guess at the same age, I look more like his brother, which would be my great uncle. I look a lot like him, especially at this age. If I grew like my beard longer,
is it dirty or clean? Dishwasher.
Dirty. So you go from wearing a tighty-whitey little shirt, and now you're walking around in skivvies. Yeah, well, put some clothes on. There's robes around this house. But yeah, next time I do it, I'll try to remember, and I'll bring out the stuff. Because he even did some of my making stuff. Because I do have an ancestor that was a foundling, where he was just found after World War II. Nobody ever knew anything about it. He was called a foundling. So I do have that as well. Dang, and I don't think I turned that off again. Well, I'm not going to go crazy tonight because I am getting up in the morning. So I'm not going to go that long tonight, maybe 10 more minutes. Forgot to turn off the Wi-Fi again.
What you mean?
Because you guys in there playing the game, ain't you?
I'm watching TV.
Oh, it might not be as bad. You just watching TV.
Yeah, no, I'm not downloading shit. I'm just watching TV.
Oh, okay. So I'll have to bring that out. But yeah, I mean, do your own stuff, Because I say because I think I made famous on the internet. Look it up. That's all you got to do. And you should know about you and where you come from. and know your story instead of his story. Know your story. Because I said, my age, we was indoctrinated. That's why the African American thing was so easy to indoctrinate us, because here was the people that was indoctrinated as children. And so you're already indoctrinated with that African stuff. So here Jesse Jackson comes, and my age people, and I'll say this, when Jason Black talks shit about my age people, they was the ones that took that African American shit hook, line, and sinker. I mean, they really did. But again, if you look at what indoctrination and propaganda is, this is what was done to the people my age and older. My age and older. Remember during the Malcolm X movie, the coffee kind of art color and everything. Everybody want to wear dashikis. And you know what the funny thing about dashikis is? People in Africa don't wear dashikis. This is American shit they sold us. 70s people wearing dashikis and shit. They don't even wear that shit in Africa. That's shit they sold us, and we thinking it's African. I mean, go to church, people wearing the African gear to church and shit. I mean, the Borgia, I don't get that shit with the Borgia. I don't get that shit with the Borgia. I don't like PJ with Flow Rider. How are you wearing that big Borgia on your neck? The only way I can think of he wearing that is because he was paid to wear it. Because there's no way you don't know by now that Borgia ain't us. But Africans love the Borgia. Africans, I dated this girl for a minute that was African. They loved the Borgia. And she was like, that was one thing that's non-negotiable. They loved the Borgia. Both my parents aren't dark, so you're onto something. I'm mixed with a tribe. More than likely. The Shiki comes from Dutch. Exactly. Ain't none of our shit. And, the Dutch still, do the blackout for the creature supposed to get everybody, the Krampus-like creature. So around Christmas, they always do blackface and shit. But yeah, just look up your own stuff. You'll see. It'll come who you are and where that you from here. We was always here. I mean, I've been told, this. I was fed the same African stuff, but yet we was like, wait a minute, we getting these stories about being from here, because this stories we got more and more. We was pretty deep in it, and then my brother broke it totally open. My brother's the best researcher I know. My brother broke it totally open. He found all that shit. He found it all, and a lot of it's still there. That's the thing but you got to research it. James Redwolf says something interesting. You can go to most records places, and still a lot of places still got microfilm. Like for me, if I wanted to go see my old, like if I lost my scrapbook and wanted to see my old clippings from the newspaper, Kalamazoo, I could go back to the Kalamazoo Gazette, and they still got all that stuff on microfilm, and they go back to the 1800s. So a lot of you can go back and look at this stuff on microfilm, especially if you go to libraries. A lot of libraries have stuff on microfilm. It's boring, but I mean it's there, and most people don't. Young people don't want to go sit in the library and look at all these records and stuff. But that's what it takes. It takes that kind of work, and a lot of it you can find on the internet too. So it's not like a lot of it can't be found on the internet. Really can. You want to go to Africa? Not me. Ain't there nothing there I want to see. I just want to go to where the pyramids is in Mexico, South America. I want to go to the area. I want to go to where the Omen was. Part of them is in Belize. So that's the only areas I want to go. I want to go to Mexico and see the pyramids down there and feel that energy, because I feel that the Time Walkers had something to do with it. I want to go to the Pyramid of the Sun, which I watched a thing on the other day. The Omen definitely created the Pyramid of the Sun. That thing I watched the other night showed figures like these under the Pyramid of the Sun. The original thing I found a jade mask, but I didn't know that some of these was found under the Pyramid of the Sun, because one of them it was a man and woman. I'm gonna say basically in this, like this, bigger though. I was familiar with the woman. Sorry, I got tobacco in my mouth. I was familiar with the woman one, because when I saw the woman, I was like, I've seen that one before, just doing my research. Then I saw the man. I'm like, wait a minute, they found all this under here too? They want to hold that come from the omen. They tell you they don't know where that stuff come from, but they've been digging up under there, but they don't want to say this is omic. They don't want to say that because it ages them even more. The technology shows it comes from them, and that's why I mess with this stuff. The Time Walkers led me to this stuff. And the Hero Twins, and that's energy to give out. It's a sourness in wine that the sparkling water ain't a sour. Let's see. The proper name is dashiki is Kentatingo. An African girl told me. Okay. That sounds like the name of the cloth too. Kentatingo. Okay. Hey, I want to go to South Africa. I would say this. I would go to, you can go to England to get the cheapest diamonds. You ain't got to go to South Africa. You can get diamonds in England. Probably the best place to get diamonds is probably England. And that's a tricky thing to get because, again, if you don't study that stuff, you don't know. You could be getting anything. You could be getting anything. You don't really know what you're looking at under a microscope, and you don't study faceting and that kind of thing and clarity. I mean, the good thing, like if you look at diamonds, the good thing is if you see carbon in it, again, it's going to take away some clarity, but it tell you it's a diamonds because zirconians don't have no inclusions. As I said, I hustled them forever diamonds. and when them zirconians first came out, there wasn't a machine that could tell if they was zirconians, because now they can metal test them. They was nothing like that back then. And just looking under a loop, you couldn't tell. The only thing was they were almost too clear. And it took them a while to catch on to that. They were almost too clear. But zirconians, you can't scratch them. They scratch fairly easy. You'll get the luster problems, scratching them. Even if you put them in gold, you got to watch how you use it. It ain't like a diamond, where a diamond, you can pretty much bang up anything. It ain't going to do nothing to it. Even scratching the gold up, it ain't really going to do nothing to it. You got a zirconian, be careful with it. Because once you scratch it up, you'll see the luster die. Because it's like glasses. If you don't get the coating on glasses and you scratch the lenses, that diamonds will do the same thing. I heard if you praise Hitler in Germany, you get jail time. Probably so. They still paying the Jewish faith people for a limited number of people. People say Africa is like a country when it's really a continent. It is a continent. Matter of fact, before it became a continent, it was a country in North Africa by the Mediterranean in the 1500s. Yeah, Africa was just a country. Exactly. Africa was a small country. It wasn't the whole continent. It's now called Tunisia. Yeah. I did see those maps before. Yeah, Africa was just a country at one time. Yep. And they whooped their ass up out of there. I mean, one of the greatest movies, watch, I think it's Zulu Dawn. Watch the first one. They getting their ass. Them Zulus, and that was my point about what happened in South America. Them Zulus on the original Zulu movie that's from the 60s with Michael Douglas in it, and they just get raided. Them motherfuckers keep coming, and it's till they dead. They overrun them. And that's what I'm saying is, you telling me you put 500 people in all these millions, and you saying these 500 people had 30, 40,000 allies overnight. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Without any time manipulation, none of that makes sense. Number one, they tell you the same story about Cortez as they tell you in Lewis and Clark's expedition. The woman Sacagawea. Well, they tell you the same story happened down there, where they met a woman and the woman could speak every language of every tribe and made everybody like Cortez. And my brother kind of broke the code a little bit, says Cortez wore the all white. Which if you get into like the Quetzalcoatl, which is kind of represented in this figure right here, the winged serpent or the white serpent. So some say that could have got him a pass. But even that is not enough to make them like everybody thinking. You know, the first time you saw one bleed, you know they wasn't gods because they say gods didn't have blood. I was gonna show a better picture, but it's like this figure up here. I don't know if that it ain't really showing, but this picture in front of me really shows it. But so if that's believable, I was a child. I thought Africa was a country with different states. Yeah, it's a continent. Yeah. Let me tell you something that I caught today though, because a lot of people are saying Europe doesn't really exist. It's all Asia, part of Asia. And what did they call it? Western Asia? Because I got I follow this channel, comes out of India, and they called it like some of them states Western Asia. And I'd read that before. What's your thoughts on this great reset they're currently pushing? That shit's dirty as hell.
Bro.
Stains all in it.
It's a fucking it's 1 a.m.
Okay.
Not going nowhere. I was just
still ugly and dirty.
Just checking out what you got going on, Rubio.
Why are you smiling? You see how darkies like to smile all the time? See, he's got the white teeth. That's what they do.
Man, your shit's yellow.
Yeah, it probably is. I chew on cigars. I'm 61 years old too.
That's the natural color of teeth, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna get them porcelain stuff put on. Then what you gonna say? Nothing you can say.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's not important tonight.
That's the color of healthy teeth. You know that healthy teeth are yellow.
Okay. What are your thoughts on this great reset they're currently pushing? They just had a World Economic meeting in this thing with the World Health Organization and giving them this power. And I don't want to get censored in any way, but a couple other people came out talking about that first, and they have broader powers if they say that something is another situation like we had a couple years ago. Now they're trying to hit you with this pox. Now, what did they devastate America with? Remember the pox? And remember, the shots was the first vaccine was for pox. I mean, what is the story how they killed most of the natives? They try to say it's the pox that killed most of the natives. I mean, they don't talk about how influenza. Now, you can find this. This is very well documented in the other slavery. They brought a man from Cuba that had the pox, and they took him into South America because they already knew how the natives that were the indigenous people were living. They already knew that they had nothing that was preparing them for this. And so they cut that person up. Now, this ain't in the book, but I found this in other places. They cut him up, would put part of his body, because part of his body apparently still had the pox in it, put him near water sources. But at first they was just exposing people to him. So they would take it back to their people and start making them sick. And this is how wicked they are. This is how wicked the Catholic Church is. This is what they would do. They would make the people sick, and they would tell the people that their gods done left them, knowing they are the reason they're sick. And that you got to believe in our gods so you can get better. And all they really did is took the pox away from the water sources and the food sources and limited exposure. And then said, see what our Jesus did? See what Borgia did? Borgia with the mullet. That's somebody else's joke, but Borgia with the mullet. See what he did? He made all that pox go away. So you got to believe in him. That's why Africa makes no sense that Africans are so loving the Borgia or the WHJ. That cracks me up. And I mean, here, as I said, most of the melanated people live on the north side. It's a lot of African churches on the north side. Where their mother lives, it's an African church around the corner. When I still was living on the north side, it was an African church around my corner. I mean, they are full. And I mean, these people are dedicated Christians. They ain't really Catholics, but they Christians. So the Great Reset, that's, I'll go back to answering the question. So, yeah, this World Health Treaty that they're about to sign, or they were supposed to sign today, I think, today or yesterday, that's given this that authority, which we know who backs the WHO. They are backed by the pharmaceutical companies. They are not. They are funded by the pharmaceutical companies.
Hold on.
What is it?
Same thing I drink.
No, I've got a beer right there. Don't open that fridge though. Just put them in there. I'll put them in the fridge.
These ones are way different. These ones taste better.
They're the same shit.
No, they're not. They're the legacies.
It's just the can.
No, it's not just the can.
It ain't the different.
They taste different.
They don't taste different.
All right.
And I noticed they quit making
These are
Killians.
These are like the old ones. This is the old recipe.
Yeah,
this is the old recipe.
Same shit.
It's not the same shit.
Same shit, just different can.
No, okay, well, because we had like 200 beers. We had like a couple cases of these, a couple cases of the regulars.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried both of them, and they're two different ones.
Okay, but you're a bunch of idiots and don't really have a good taste for good beer.
Well, you're
different
bald and
beer.
look like a turtle who lost its shell.
You're not old enough. Who was with you? Michael?
No.
And Jake? Who else? Who else was with you?
Like me. Damn, it was like me, Jake. It was just like me, Jake, and then all the people I go hang out with.
Okay, bunch of dummies. Nobody knows anything about beer. Not to say, but y'all idea of comparing beers is like y'all already drunk is like, give me one of those. Give me one of these. They're different. They're different.
One of them to buy. So they got like this little thing. It's probably like, I think it was like 300, right?
300 what?
300 simoleons, and they get $300. And like
you're gonna buy $300?
No, you can make your own beer with it.
Oh yeah, we got a room in the garage. Once we throw away them nasty couches, we can make some beer in the garage. I know how to make beer.
No. It's just like it's like a machine, it's like this big, and then you just set it somewhere, and it'll have the perfect temp on it and everything, and it'll just.
It's easier to buy a whole kit. You can buy a whole kit with bottles and stuff. No, I don't need to buy a whole
kit. It's a fucking machine, and then it does everything inside the machine, and then you just put it in a cup.
Okay, but for about $50, you can get the equipment and make your own beer too, and make a couple gallons for about $50, not $300. So don't waste your money to do it.
I'm getting that thing.
That's stupid.
No, all right. Well, don't ask for no.
It's stupid to buy that.
No.
So can you only make 300 one time?
Huh?
How many times can you get this $300 beer? You get this equipment.
Huh?
They both said they quit smoking vapes. I destroyed it. I crushed both vapes with the hammer. Now they fiending. Now they're fiending. I'm sorry. I forgot what I was talking about. Don't bring him out here interrupting me. I don't want to hear more stupid shit.
Nigga thought I was hitting the vape.
He thought you was hitting the vape? Oh, he's breaking down and shit?
Nigga breaking down.
He breaking down. He in their feet. He be like, I need it. I need it.
It's like, let me hit my vape.
You know, junkies be rubbing their arms when they get stick. I need it.
He just said, let me see my vape. He's like, what are we doing out there?
I'm never smoking beer. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know. Pay $300 for some stupid shit. You can buy a little beer kit anywhere and make some gallons of beer. You can make so much wine. You can, like they was calling bathtub gin or bathtub wine. Like, wine grapes is bitter in the motherfucker if you ever tasted a wine grape. But we used to eat them anyway. Because, wine grapes, you peel the skin off and you just eat the grape. All these states are their own countries. You notice one state has different laws than the next. That's absolutely right. They are countries. Tried vapes once, didn't like it. I never tried a vape. I mean, I've tried weed vape, but never vapes. Yeah, each state is its own country. That's why they came into nations. When these Europeans came, the Puritans came over, the Pilgrims, they came into nations. When the Dutch came over, they came into nations, and they treated the nations as nations at first. And they should have killed everybody as they got off the boats and never stopped killing them until the last person in America died. That's really what should have happened everywhere. No matter how many people had to die, keep trying to kill them for the future. That's what really should have happened, because that's what they did, and it really ain't stopped. I mean, the kind of genocide. I'm about to get a book about the genocide done in California or out on the West Coast, and we don't even talk about that. Right now, wrapping our heads around what came in the East. But the genocide that happened out West, the more I'm studying this stuff, is unbelievable. as we see in the Magnificent Seven, they talk about John Horn. They say, remember, they say it's illegal to collect scalps. Well, yeah, at a certain point that became illegal on the East Coast, but not out west. They were still letting you kill people and turn them in and get money for it. As I said before, after you look at the gold rush and the lie of the gold rush, that's all a lie. The gold rush was a lie. That was just to put Europeans out there. That's all it was. Yes, a few did find some natural resources, but I said, look at them peoples. Them peoples got rich and didn't break a rock. Them peoples just followed, like, that's what vultures do. They follow the people that do the work, and then they try to overrun them in numbers to steal. Hyenas do the same thing. Let others do the work and then try to beat them with numbers to steal. So, but that was really all that was a point. I mean, look at what they did to the Mormons. Nobody in Utah gave them the okay to come there and take their land. And look at the massacres. They try to tell you first they massacred some Mormons. They always tell that lie to rile them up. But look at how many people the Mormons massacred. The Utes, and then they got the nerve to take the name the Utes. Each states have different laws. They really are separate countries. They really are. They really are. Imagine if all of Europe was a country. Nah. When them rodents went up in there, or when the reptilians went up in there, they never stopped that. I mean, if you watch the Kingsmen, they show you the history how, you had cousins fighting each other. Now, the cousins wasn't never at risk. I mean, one cousin ended up giving up Russia, which I don't really think he was killed. I think that was all story, because you can buy Tsar gold with the Tsar's picture on it. And I've told the story about the Tsar, the 8 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I met an old Jewish gangster that saw the Tsar as a young man. Well, he was a teenager. And the Tsar went buying a coach. Because, I'd be fucking with people. But, yeah. I met Joe Walcott that fought Joe Louis. Joe Louis fought Max Smelly. Max Smelly knew Hitler. So I know somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew Hitler. Isn't that some shit in my lifetime? I met Jersey Joe Walcott. And he knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew Hitler. Isn't that crazy? But I said before, in my lifetime, I knew people born in the 1800s. Yes, they are. Like I said, it's a corporation, not a country. United States is a corporation that's run by England. Do you really think we have our independence from England? Yeah. Yeah, we don't have independence from England. Matter of fact, we are also controlled by Rome. The document of discovery that said they own everything and even every soul. That's why they do all these bindings. That's why they do all these bindings, because the Romans, Rome, the Pope, the Rome, are the ones that think they own everything and everybody. They even think they own your soul. And so according to them, you get buried like them. That's why they like when they put all the fluids in you, embalmed you and preserve you, and then put you in that box that, is nothing but more of a lock to keep your soul from escaping. That's why they want to put all the embalming fluid out of you. They're trying to strip any spirituality out of you. So the less contamination you get of that shit, the better you are off, because that's all that is. That ain't, preserving you goes back to the Civil War and preserving people after they die in war. That's where preserving came from. And then they tricked the rest of the country in doing that. But that's really what it was done for at first. I mean, most people handled their own burials. I got a friend. I'm not going to say this, but I know people that have private cemeteries. We have our own private cemetery with my family. The oldest relative that personally is like a name we got, and we know where they're buried, is Dicey. She was born in the early 1800s, and she's born in Michigan. She only lived to be about 50-something. But she was buried in Michigan. And Dicey was a Heathcock. But she's buried on our private land. We've got and this cemetery is my great-great-grandfather that was in the Civil War, my great-grandfather that I knew in my lifetime, my great-grandmother, My grandmother got she got burned, so cremated. So she's not buried out there. But yeah, those people are all buried out there. My great 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 grandfather was in the Civil War. George Washington Appy. uh, why didn't England just take the land? England did take the land. I mean, you don't leave England in Canada, and you don't leave England in the islands if England broke away. What I said is, and this is what I'm going to tell you, we are the only people, when we dress up and wear that red, white, and blue shit, shut your door, please. Hey, yeah. Shut your door. Who's that blowing their nose? Huh? Who's blowing their nose? No one. Shut your door. Now, I've been saying this for years. When you dress up with that red, white, and blue, this is really what you simulating doing. It's like we as a people go in the middle, and we wear red, white, and blue. We play our music. We give a party, and the Europeans bomb us. And we celebrate while we being bombed. That's how silly we look on the 4th of July. It's like all the melanated people in the country get together, and we get in the middle, and we partying, dancing, smoking, and while the Europeans are literally bombing us. And we celebrating them bombing us. That's what the 4th of July is to melanated people. That's how insulting it is to melanated people. And that's how you talking about, he said Jackie Robinson. That's basically Jackie Robinson shit, that you wear that red, white, and blue shit on that day. It is not a celebration for us. Matter of fact, the Revolutionary War was nothing but a land steal. It helped the English take Canada, and it helped the English Americans take the East Coast. That's all it was. It was just an agreement to split lands. That's all, under them. So it ain't nothing for us. It ain't nothing for us. This ain't China. They have opportunities. This ain't China. We have opportunities. We do, but we have opportunities to put you to sleep, basically. They want to make you comfortable, because when people are comfortable, they don't want to rebel. That's what all this technology is to make you comfortable so you don't want to rebel and you don't want to speak against the government. That's what comfort does. The better job you got, the more conservative you get. People, as you get older, you become more conservative. You just do. Now, I'm not saying conservative party. I'm saying as you get older, you tend to become more conservative. And I'm not saying politically conservative. I'm just saying as the way you look at life, you become more conservative as you get wisdom and age. You naturally do. And so we are not really a part of this system. Now, yes, we do. Anybody can have work. Anybody can get to a certain point and you can retire. But it's to make people comfortable. The more people are comfortable, you don't want to rebel. I'm sorry I repeated that, but that's something that you got to think about. Comfort makes less rebellion. And so if you only graduated from high school and never had any college and you get a comfortable job, how likely are you to rebel? Like a lot of people put in there. People, this is what kills me. One woman put how she worked at a company. She was a forklift driver, and she did so well, she got to be the supervisor of the forklift people, of shipping and receiving. And she's thanking God. She's thanking Jesus. She's thanking the Borgia. What about your hard work? You woke up every day to went to that place. You was efficient. Didn't no outside spooky thing help you do that. That was your own drive. That was your own ability to deal with people. That ain't from outside. That's from inside. But yet she's giving the energy away like she ain't had nothing to do with it. But yet she described everything she had to do to get to that point. But then at the end, she's like, holy Jesus, thank you, Jesus. And I'm looking at this stuff like, why would you give that power away? You did it. Nothing else did it. You did it. Ain't no outside source do it. Kazam. Alakazam. People shouldn't settle for less. I don't disagree. But since the Patriot Act, when half of the session wasn't there to read it, like a dude came on a few months ago and said, here you are trying to pass bills to spend money. You give it, we ain't got time to read it. You know how many people were there that voted on the Patriot Act? Not very many. And it took a lot of laws, a lot of laws, a lot of rights, a lot of freedoms away. Because before the Patriot Act, really the only time you could kick in a person's door was something like murder. Something like murder. And then after a Patriot Act, you could kick in a person's door for a misdemeanor. For a misdemeanor. They didn't have that power before the Patriot Act because you couldn't do it. You had to have a search warrant to kick in people's doors. And the search warrant was generally for a felony. Patriot Act, you could kick in doors for misdemeanors. And you telling me that ain't German Nazi shit? Kicking in doors for a misdemeanor. Person do a misdemeanor, you kick in their door. Well, he stole, he was at Walmart's and he stole this airplane and now we're kicking his door and coming after him. So opportunities are going to foreigners that can come over illegally and out front of natural born Americans. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the one thing that I like that they did was killing temporary agencies. Temporary agency was really invented as a secretarial pool. That's how they're invented. But I showed you, I've talked about this before. We saw, as I said, Battle Creek, Michigan was supposed to have what's called Cedar Point. Cedar Point is Sandusky, Ohio. PJ probably knows where it is. It's right on Lake Erie. Sandusky, Ohio, where the original one was supposed to be in Battle Creek. Kellogg's, for some reason, didn't want Cedar Point there, and they wanted to bring all these Japanese suppliers in there. All right? Kellogg's nixed it. The Kellogg Corporation, which ain't in Battle Creek anymore, but them Japanese supplier parts. So when they were thinking about bringing this industrial park, it was a bunch of vets because Battle Creek has a VA hospital. And back then in the 80s, a lot of them World War II vets were still alive. And they was saying, hell no. We killed these people. We hate Japanese. My great uncle fought in World War II and my grandfather, they hated Germans and they hated Japanese to the day they died. And they're doing all this protest. And don't you know what Battle Creek did? They put all these Japanese companies in there anyway. Not only that, they told the Japanese they only had to give permanent work to so many people. They said, what we're setting up is we've got a circle. Instead of you having to hire permanent workers, we're going to set up a pool where you just take a pool of temporary workers and we'll keep bouncing them around. This is all the wording. We got this paperwork. This is the wording. This is what we're proposed to the Japanese. You only have to have so many permanent workers. We're going to set up a temporary agency where the idea is to bounce all the people around. That was the idea. Person getting near their 90 days, on the 89th day you can fire him, he'll have to go somewhere else. And this became a practice of abuse. They could pay low wages. Most of them wasn't union. The hell you down here messing with? Cedar Point is northern Ohio by Cleveland. Yeah, because Lake Erie is up more northern Ohio. Yep. Oh, you never been through that? Yeah. Somebody asked me that earlier. I got to see how it's the context of it. Because Jackie is considered Uncle Tom. That's what he was considered in his day. He was considered a traitor to his people. Only the Europeans build up Jackie, not his people. His people don't build him up. They know what he did. But it's in northern Ohio. Yeah, it's on Lake Erie. Yep. Cleveland's up in Lake Erie too. Yep. I'm up grinding, creating context. There you go, Black Trunks. There you go. Black Trumps, that must be up to KD called hell for joining them, but didn't, and some don't even look into the backstory of why he joined the Warriors. It's a good point. Never been to Ohio, never will. I tell you what, the PJ, you could tell me. I used to hate driving from Ohio. You talk the two worst states, if you get caught, like the worst state to drive in is Wisconsin. And when I have to go back to Michigan or go to Chicago, Milwaukee, it ain't nothing. Well, Milwaukee's in Wisconsin, but you got to go through the whole state of Wisconsin. And they are out there thick. They do traffic thick. Now, luckily, Wisconsin was one of the last states to have to give 70 miles an hour because they love 50. Because people, I mean, it would take you forever to go somewhere at 55. It just would take you so much, you know. So, but Ohio, they get real dirty with it. Ohio would have, because then the Ohio Turnpike goes from, technically you can take 80, 90 all the way. It's 94. 80, 90 really runs off of 94. Old Indian trails. The old Indian trail really is what they use from the supply chain from Detroit to Pittsburgh is the toll road, but it's 94 turning into 80, 90. But anyway, they would be so dirty behind car. They would put they would put the radar or they would put the laser behind like a van would look broken down. And then you'd go by it, it'd be a car back there, laser, and people are doing back then radar. You thinking about getting a Harley? No, not me. That's in Wisconsin, though. Harley's in Wisconsin. I am from California, but lived in the Midwest. I lived in the Midwest before, even though snowstorms and tornadoes, never again. I've lived in, let me see, I had one tornado I lived in Michigan and one tornado here. But snowstorms, yeah, I've been through a lot of blizzards. Been in blizzards in Michigan. I've been in blizzards here. Both places have blizzards. They're equal blizzardy. It just gets colder here. But the last few years, it don't get as cold. Because when it be that minus shit, when it be like minus 15 and you got to go outside, that shit be hard in the motherfucker to breathe, boy. And it'd be like, hope your car don't break down and run out of gas somewhere. Most people here carry extra blankets and shit so you can survive till they come get you. But last few years, it ain't been cold like that. KG going to the Warriors. He was a massive upgrade over Harrison Barnes. It was a no-brainer. Then Barnes went up and got all that money. What from San Francisco? Barnes went to Sacramento. Then Barnes ended up in Sacramento and got paid wherever Barnes when he got paid. But yeah, Barnes went somewhere else and got the money. But yeah, I've lived majority of my life in the Midwest. I've lived 15 years here. I grew up in Michigan until I was 18. I lived in North Carolina 7 years. And then I lived in Michigan when I went back after North Carolina for 20 years. And I've been here for 15. So I live on pink granite. I live on top of pink granite. That's why it was written for me to be here. Because there's a lot of spiritual energy. This land was once the Dakotas' land. They gave them a little bitty lake and took the big lake. But it's still holy area. It really is. This granite, this granite is what we sit on. And it's high vibrations. So, for sure. What time is it? 1:28. It was. I was in Missouri before, and it was minus 20 degrees. Yeah, that 20 ain't funny. There was a vid in Team USA back in 10 where Katie and Iguodala and Curry sitting next to each other. Oh, okay. And it was minus 20. Woo! It was obvious he was going to go their head there. Well, yeah. It was just like they showed Kevin and they showed Irving talking, and then you was going to see if I would have owned the Nets, there's no way I'd have picked up Irving or KD. There's no way I'd have took that deal. I wouldn't have wanted any one of them. I wouldn't have traded for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce either. That was stupid what they gave up for them two. I never did that either. So, well, I think I'm going to call it because I am going to get up early. Oh, I want to show this bullshit. And I left a comment. You know, I got a Macy's card, so I get this bullshit from Macy's all the time. But Quantum of Science was just talking about how often are we going to see these symbolisms? And they do it every time. And it's like, why is it even necessary? And he did say a point. It's like, the thing is not to care. It's like, it doesn't matter that they do it. We know that they do it. So look at this shit. Like, why? Why is this necessary to make this and send this to people? Most people are going to throw this shit away. But why did they have to do this kind of thing? And, you know, a lot of people wouldn't see this, but it's obvious what they're trying to show you. You know, the eye of Marduk. Now, with Curry sticking his tongue out after he hit tonight, Again, I've showed you that comes from the calendar. That comes from the Mayan calendar. You know, the god Shock. And a lot of times it's shown with his tongue out. This is comes out of America. But it's like this kind of shit. And like I say with anime, why do Japanese show this kind of stuff? Those of you that watch anime, you always see this in anime. And it's almost like if they don't show this shit, they can't. Look, I'm doing it now. But it's like if, in anime, if they don't show this shit, it almost makes you think they can't get their work on because you see it in every anime. In every anime. Why? Let me see what they say. Eric Spoelstra overrated as a coach. He only 2 titles with LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh. He wasn't competitive against the Lakers in the bubble. Why he get the job? This man started off as a video. How many times we gonna hear about coaches being the video dudes? You know, making the videos, breaking down films. How many pro coaches win the league? Why Spoelstra go over Bob McAdoo? Look how long Bob McAdoo worked for the Heat. And Bob McAdoo never got an opportunity to be a pro coach. Now Bob McAdoo got to be in his 80s. Late 70s or 80s. Because I want to say Bob McAdoo is slightly younger than Jabbar. Slightly younger. And Jabbar's got to be 72, 73, 74, 75. So Bob McAdoo is in his 70s. Never got a chance to coach NBA. He's probably an assistant coach for 20 years, won 2 titles with the Lakers. Never got the chance to coach. Why? How's supposed to jump over him? There you go. The Eye of Yadabath. Shit, I can be in a video, dude. There you go. Udoka, better coach. Same with Kareem. Should have got a chance to coach. Yeah, they blackballed Kareem. And look at him now. He's the head simp. That's why I put the video. He's the head simp. They gave an award his name. Did you see? Oh, did y'all check out why the dude in Dallas won the award? Did y'all catch out what LeBron said? Or, excuse me, did y'all catch what Jabbar said? He said, for your work in the LBTG, whatever, down in Dallas, this is why you get the Kareem Jabbar Citizens Award. Or whatever the fuck it was called. But did you see how they added that in there, that the brothers doing that kind of work down in Dallas? I was like, look at this shit here. Look at this shit here. Ooh, that was a good one. This is antiseptic. I know it messes with my cat. But this is an antiseptic. Burnt sage is antiseptic too. Yeah, I know my cat is struggling. He don't like smells, but I hate having my crib just smell like a freaking cat. So take your ass in another room. You don't like the way it smells. Go somewhere. Go somewhere. So Dwayne Casey got ran of Toronto. That was his team. They just added Kawhi and Nick Nurse and got the credit. The same thing they did to my cousin Tony Dungy. It's the same thing to Dungy. Traded for Gruden. They fired Tony and then traded for Gruden. You know, you can trade coaches. Look at the history of the NFL. You can trade coaches, and that's Gruden got traded to Tampa Bay. And then, as I said before, with that Super Bowl where they played the Raiders, they run a completely different offense and go back to Gruden's system right before the Super Bowl. The center who calls all the blocking, I mean, listen to NFL line. Before the quarterback makes a sound, you hear the center calling the blocking out. You hear it in college, you hear it in pro. College, you hear the same thing. The center's telling everybody which way to block. Now sometimes the quarterback will change the back, and so he'll tell everybody which way to slide, or he's going to slide. The quarterback will make an adjustment, and he'll tell everybody, well, instead of doing that blocking scheme, we're going to slide this way. He'll call it audible. But that's the first you hear. So the center goes crazy. And it was like Wilson before the San Diego played San Francisco, where the Billups drops the interception in the end zone that wins it for Cincinnati. He just drops it on the same play that dude later against Russell Wilson gets the interception. It was the exact same play. Exact same play. One drops it, one makes the interception. Do you see how they use the same script over and over again? I mean, we just saw this in the basketball. We saw 2 times the same play used in the end of the game situations. Remember against the Nets, Boston? And then we saw, wasn't it Golden State did the same kind of thing at the end of the game? So you see, they're not that creative. And so for the creators that fuck with them, stay on their necks. Let's keep going at them. Mark Jackson, yeah. Mark Jackson's problem, and some are kind of saying Mark Jackson might go to the Lakers. Mark Jackson doesn't understand that being religious. And I'll tell you this. I've said this before about Mark Jackson. He is reluctant to throw the signs. He really is. He's very reluctant because a lot of times these sports announcers are only shown very limited when they're shown. And you see the football especially. You see them showing signs. They're holding this, they're almost like this in the camera. Like the king of the Moors is doing all this shit when you watch it. But you see most TV people when they're on, they're doing something to show their allegiance to the beast. Mark Jackson be very reluctant in front of the camera to show that shit. Everybody else just shows it. Like, I'm part of it, hey. That's why I say with the cheetah print and the zebra print, it all means the same thing. Like when Molly Karam came out with it. When the old chick, what's her name? What's the sister that does the NBA? She used to be a DC correspondent, and this ain't no young chick. She came on last season wearing the cheetah print. What is her name? The sister that does the interviewing for ABC. Not ESPN too. I can't think of that sister's name. She used to be a White House correspondent, which I thought that would be a better career than going into sports, but she left the White House correspondence to be for ESPN. She worked at ABC before, but she went into ESPN. Seemed like it'd have been a better deal where she was at, but that's on her. But when I saw her old ass wearing the cheetah print, I'm like, oh my goodness. They don't give them a break. They be like, if you on TV and somebody wants you, they can have you. That's what that means. If you on TV and there's somebody out there that ends up wanting you that has enough money. Remember there was a movie years ago. It was Robert Redford, and he got to rent the dude's wife for $1 million. He said he wanted the dude's wife for a night, and how much would you take? And finally he said $1 million. And he had to drive his woman there, and she got on a private jet and went to fuck with that dude. Now it's just for a career. They do this kind of thing for a career. Have to go to these creepy motherfuckers. As I said about the man in Atlanta, Tyler Perry. It's men out there that want to have sex with him while he dressed as my dear. And he services these people. He has to service these people dressed as my dear. That's why I say he backed this way in Hollywood. Steve Kerr inherited the dynasty. So did Tony. Tony was a defensive coach. Tony's a defensive coach. He put that Tampa Bay team together. They make it down. NFL who bowed down. Yeah. Mark Jackson gave up coaching. Skip me. Okay, here we go. Mark Jackson gave up coaching position because of the owners are flaming people and they started acting out in front of him. That does not surprise me. You talking about Kamika? No, not Kamika, but she's wearing it too. No, I'm talking about Lisa Saunders. Right? Lisa Saunders. I'm talking about Lisa Saunders. She wore it too, though. Kamika wore it too. So did Molly Karam, but so did Taylor's sister that's on the herd. She wore it too. Taylor made the Hall of Fame. His sister is on the herd every day. She was dating Ben Watkins, maybe the guard from UCLA that later coached Watkins. No, his name is not Ben. His name is Watkins that played at UCLA. He played he's a coach now, assistant coach. I think he's assistant coach with New Orleans. Damn, I never thought about the obvious Disney reprogramming with the Cheetah Girls in the early 2000s. All those chicks were groomed. Sex kittens. Raven Simone, Adrienne Balloon from the, yeah. Oh, and if I didn't say this before, I probably did, though. Okay, the dude, this is what I think, my final thought. If I didn't say this, and if I said it before, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this again, though. So the last Cat Williams show is that dude who was on Simone's show when Simone was a young girl. That dude who now everybody acts crazy. There's a shot on that video where that's him. When this Cat Williams last special, that's that dude. Brown, I think is his name. That's him. That's not Cat Williams. That's him. There's a shot where I was looking, I was like, damn, that's a mask. Look at Cat Williams' neck. Looks like the person has a mask on, but that's who I think it is, that crazy dude that, and I know, I mean, again, program crazy, but I think that was him. Orlando Brown. Yeah, I don't think that was Cat Williams. I think that was Orlando Brown. But look at his neck. You see something that ain't a chain, but if you watch it again, look at this part right in here. There's like a roll right there. But there was a shot, and okay, so if you're facing me, it is going to be, even from your TV, because like I'm looking at TV, it's going to be from your right hand side. So there's a shot that they take from the right hand side that it looks like that dude. So that's just my observation. Was a kid in major pain? Yeah. But I think, hey, Mr. T Gaming, how you doing? Mark's brother Escalade passed away. Yeah, Escalade was again. Yeah, Escalade played in college too. Escalade played at Louisville. Yeah. So yeah, he spilled blood for Mark. Yep. Lionel Brown posing as Lionel Brown on stage. That's wild. Yeah, I thought he was. I'm pretty sure that's him playing Cat Williams in this latest special, because the special ain't funny. I mean, these dudes get older and get preachy, and then again, like if I sat here and talked about all my sex exploits, y'all get bored. Be like, 60-year-old motherfucker. How we want to keep hearing, what a 60-year-old sex life is about. And I'm saying with Cat Williams, it's like you 50 and you talking about this sex shit that looks more appropriate for people in their 20s to be funny. You ain't doing too much stroking after 50. Not saying it dies, but it ain't like when you in your 30s and 40s. Really, it changes. Once you get 30 at all, it changes from when you was 20. So I said, I was in bed. Me and Iris was in bed for, I busted 12 nuts in 14 hours. 12 nuts. And before that, it was high school. I was one girl, I think it was 10. And we was only in bed. We wasn't even in bed that long. But that was my girlfriend in high school. I was 17. She was like 16. But yeah. But that was like, I had done 10 with her, and we was only in bed, 5 or 6 hours. My stepdad worked nights. And so my mom was there. She didn't care if I took my girlfriend back to the room. And my brother, it's funny. My brother, I didn't lock my door, and like we was done. We wasn't doing that. She was just really laying on me. But my brother walked in the room, and like, the way the covers were, is like her hip and her leg was exposed of her laying on me, because she was like laying on my chest. And so he really didn't see her butt because the cover just had her leg, but he could tell she was naked just seeing her leg. And he walked in, he was like, hey. That's how he was. He was like, hey. And then he froze when he saw that we was both kind of naked in there. And he's like, and he backed out the room like, damn, that shit blew. And then the next day he's like, I know your business. I will beat your ass if you tell. Dave Chappelle also became too political. What the hell I walk into? Anthony, how you doing, man? 50, 60-year-old dude with comedian talking about sex is like thinking about your parents' sex. Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, cat, get it. That ain't funny from you. That ain't funny from you. I don't want to hear you preach. Because that's really what he started doing. He started preaching, talking about God. People don't want that. Why you got to talk about Biden? See, I got into that, but again, when people talking about Obama, people talking about Bush, people had to talk about Trump. And that was the one Damon, or not Damon, the one Wayne's boy that was like, y'all know what dick tastes, right? He had the nerve to say that. Like, he knew what it tasted like. That was the inference. Y'all know what dick tastes like, right? That if I say that, I'm saying that I know what it tastes like. He said that during his stand-up. I think Louis C.K. and Bill Burr are the only comedians that have stayed true to originals and are super political. 5 comedians talking about Clinton the entire 90s. Yeah. Obama too, though. Obama too. But I don't get it. It's like they have to talk about him. Like, oh, come on, let's do a shout out to our black president. I watched a comedian show, a comic show, and it's like all the comics came out and talked about Obama. It's like all 5 of them talked about Obama. And but what tripped me out is all these people that was talking about Trump. I'm like, why? You ignore something that ain't as strong. These comedians didn't ignore it. I'm thinking, why? Ignore this motherfucker. I don't like this motherfucker. Ignore it. Didn't get that. Programming, yeah, I feel you. You right. You right. It is. So, all right. Let me get a divination for tonight. And this is the 0 day. 0 day, and we are going into the south. So this is the end. So I'll say this. Let me try to catch it where all this lighting. I'll say this: if you're finishing up a program or you're finishing up something that you manifested, this is a great day for your timing. So this is called aha, or 0 day. This would be 0 day. There we go. This is 0 day. The common Mayan usage would be Lord, ruler, or flower. Qualities are wholeness, unconditional love, solar mastery, cosmic consciousness, language of light, empathy, limitless bliss, crown, or solar logos. Symbols are sun, dove, crown chakra. The number is 20, or some call it 0 day. The color is gold. Herbs are passion flower. Flower is sunflower. Flower essence is passion flower. Scent is amber resin. Stones are amber. I got on amber. I think I got on backwards. Amber. That is amber. Fire element. Direction is from the south. So the shadow or the negative side of it is limiting definitions of self and the divine, loving conditionally with expectations. So there's love has no conditions. That's why they call it unconditional love. That's what you tend to have for your children. But that's the kind of love you should have for everybody. Should be no condition. You know, you find, and I'll say this, of any bashing of sisters is, a lot of sisters only love you if you love them back. Not that unconditional love. Well, you don't love me anymore. I don't love you anymore. Love has no conditions. You just love. Loving conditionally with expectation and judgment, issues of ideas and identification. But the way to turn around is being love's presence sets you free. Examine your concepts of self and divinity. Practice the art of acceptance and allowance in order to embody unconditional love. Harmonic overtones is the harmonic wisdom, the mantra. Palms facing forward at eye level, shoulder width apart. Till hands tingle, rotate palms. Then opening arms to radiate conscious. So you'd start here, 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 then opening your arms. So you go here, 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 then opening your arms to let in the rays. So both hands, while saying, the same golden bird that dwells in the human heart dwells in the sun. I am the child of light, crowned with self-authority and transparency, the divine child I know myself to be. That's kind of how mantras works. So thank you so much for joining me. I think I went through all my notes. Pretty sure I went through all my notes. I want to say this. Some dreadful shit happened up here. They stopped a car, and this is the crazy shit. So they stopped a car up here. What are we, Sunday? So this happened Friday, and I've been forgetting to mention this. So they stopped a car with a broken out back window. The car had went to a gas station to get some gas, and someone kind of called in that there's a suspicious car with a broken out back window. So the cops see the car, they stop the car, they open up the car, and there's a 6 or 8 year old little boy dead in the trunk. And they found that shit here Friday. Now, the foster parents linked to the child they're talking to, but it was 2 other people. But 2 people were driving around a car with a busted out, and that almost sounds like a psyop in a lot of ways. I mean, you had a busted out broken window and you still driving that car around? I mean, your back window especially, and you're driving that car around with a dead body. It's almost psyop. I don't know what the ritual in that is, but I forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention that. But I didn't think too many people. PJ said he knew that die motherfucker still. People didn't know still. People knew my mind's playing tricks on me, but a lot of people wasn't hip to still. That was one of my favorite songs by them, still. You know, die motherfucker still. I like that. I like that. Yeah, didn't really have any other just music, a little music. Just a little music. Some Zero, I shared that. He did a great breakdown of people. I guess he grew up in the 90s, but of love music. I mean, he says some things that kind of my generation is like, he was saying, like, I ain't been to a club in probably 14 years. I ain't been to a club. Probably the last time I went to a club was before my daughter Natalie was born, and that had to be, she was born in 11, so 7 or 8 was the last time I've been in a club. But he was saying that now, you can't even go up to a woman and ask her to dance and shit. I didn't know that's how clubs are now. That women just want to dance in each other and twerk around each other. You can't just walk up to a woman and ask her to dance. That was the beautiful thing about growing up in the disco era. I mean, disco songs, fast or slow, was 15, 20 minutes. And if you got to dance to Always and Forever by Heatwave, that song damn near a half hour by itself. But just say an average song. So you dance with a woman, a disco version, Flashlight. Flashlight is the disco version, damn near 20 minutes. And then that goes off and a slow song comes on. And then most slow songs, again, Always and Forever is a long ass slow song. And so you've got a woman trapped for like almost a half hour. Then the next thing is, hey, can I buy you and your girls drinks? Not just the pimps would be like, can I buy you and your girls drinks? Or whoever you came with, and because they want anything. She by herself, that's the better. But most of the time women come together. Looks pimpier when you buy them all drinks. Oh, really? You want to buy all of them drinks? Yeah. Because they going to be drinking while I'm talking to you. They ain't paying attention to you no more. I am. So if I get their attention on drinks, their attention ain't on you to talk shit about me. See how you kind of think ahead? That's why you buy the girls drinks. But anyway, I didn't know it was like that. But I grew up in, learning how to slow dance. The way I learned how to slow dance at 16, I still slow dance that way. We call it socialing. I can do all that ballroom kind of dancing. I grew up bopping. That's the first dance I knew. Well, first dance I knew I was a twist, but my mother always bopped with me as a boy. All my aunts, that's how they danced. They bopped. Then the up and down dancing at the late 60s. A lot of even if you look at popping and locking, it ain't nothing but up and down. It's up and down. The cheerleading up and down. Ready, set. That's all popping and locking is. It's up and down. But look at Soul Train. Everybody be standing there, and the music come on. Everybody be up and down. The early Soul Trains in the early 70s. Up and down dancing. Up and down. Up and down. Even the Funky Chicken wasn't nothing but up and down. Up and down. So, but that's something that I think that to be romantic has went away. Love music teaches you, it's a different vibration. I mean, really, for 3 minutes, it'll give you all the love you want in your heart. I mean, if you don't, I'll say this. You should have songs like right now, I'm going to give it out. The Kundalini is going, so I'll give it out. Right now, you should be able to listen to music to activate your Kundalini. Oh, let's give more. Okay, lots coming. Let's keep giving it out. You should be able to listen to music and get your Kundalini moving. Like I started with, I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind. I put this down in words. How wonderful life is that you're in the world. And then even Joe Croce, operator, will you help me make this call? I mean, that shit just immediately releases Kundalini. Just me thinking about it releases Kundalini. You've got to reach that, Pete. You've got to reach that, y'all. You have to have a song that's a slow song that will move a Kundalini. that will move your kundalini. If you haven't played sports, the advantage of kundalini playing sports is this. If you play sports, you know what butterflies feel like. And you've dealt with them for a number of years, because most of us played sports. We started getting butterflies as little boys playing sports. Now, the sad thing is, the higher you go up in sports, it eventually goes away because it becomes more of a business. It's more work. But for those of us that went in sports early enough, you know that feeling. You know that feeling with the butterflies. Well, later in life, you can take them butterflies to move kundalini. Hey, liquid fire. My ex did that when we first met. To my girl, went wild like he was a keeper. I thought those days was done. Pimp move. Yeah, absolutely. My ex did that when we first met. My girls went wild like, he's a keeper. There you go. See, this from a woman's mouth. This come from a woman's mouth. Hate Trump, hate of Trump, love of all. Had a lot more money when he was in office. That's the Republican way. I mean, people talk stuff about Ronald Reagan, but Ronald Reagan was about letting everybody get their paper. That's why Scarface was in the time of Ronald Reagan. They was letting people, and you look at Miami, how Miami got built up. You can Google this. Look at the Google of Miami during the drug days of Miami, how it was nothing downtown Miami. And look at all the banks and high rises got built because of the drug business. The bank's still there. These high rises are still in Miami. I watched something on that, and they showed the number of businesses that benefited that are still in Miami because of the drug business. Downtown Miami was built off the drug business. So, but yeah, that's see, I'm glad somebody said that somebody did that. I mean, that's the way we always did it. You with a bunch of girls, that was the easiest way to keep them from talking shit about you, is keep them occupied and like, hey, your drink is with me. Here you go. Definitely a pimp move. Definitely. So these are the kind of things young men got to do. You got to be thinking ahead, especially if you like them. You got to be thinking, got to be thinking ahead. So that's it. I will not be back on until Thursday morning. I think we're walking back to school, so yeah. I'll walk her to school in the morning. She's gonna be like, Dad, where you at? Girl, trying to sleep. You can drink coffee while we walk. Yeah, we can. So I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Now there's my clock just went off. Say it's time to go to bed. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland and knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the world as a culture and a lifestyle. That is what you call civilization builders. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which is the Milky Way, which no matter what's up there, you know how to move through it. And that's the goal, is to know how to move through it. And as the mind was later say, I am another yourself. And so that's how Lord Mars when you want to see. It's okay to possess people when you got a disagreement so you can see their point of view. But let me see how this motherfucker's thinking, and let me flip it and listen to me talk shit to him and tell him why he's wrong, and let me see how he thinks. And you got to be like that. We're strong enough to be like that. And that ain't illegal. That ain't invasive. It's like, I need to know your opinion and why you think like that. So the only way I can know how you think is I need to step in your shoes for a minute. So excuse me while I understand. Oh, shit, I need to write that down. Oh, excuse me while I understand. I'm going to write it down and forget how the context. Oh, that's drinking water. I was hearing that shit. I was like freaking out. Like, what is this shit? This slapping. And remember that love just is. Love just is. There's no equal to love. Love shouldn't come conditionally. If you give it out, just give it out. I want to start a little differently in this part. How can I make it wider? I guess, it's so late for everybody, and everybody is either working or you're relaxing. And I try to give to show you how there shouldn't be anything bothering you as you rest. So that's the energy I'm trying to put out there. And that's why I say that everything around you should be your protection. Yes, it's great if you can get crystals. It's cool to get sage. And yes, those kind of things do run away a lot of this stuff. But you also, what you've put around you is enough, because you put it around you, and unconsciously you put things around you to protect you. You really do, unconsciously. You like these certain colors, but in liking these colors and wearing this stuff, there's a subconscious way that this stuff, we're thinking because we bought this stuff, it should kind of protect us. I mean, you have a raincoat on, it's going to protect you from the rain. Well, you have to figure out what spiritual raincoat you need to, spiritually move through. And most of you are doing it, is my point. Most of you are doing it. And if something does bother you in your sleep or having a weird dream, just activate your room again. Maybe smudge it. Again, this stuff, if you can't breathe it, that's okay. But or burn a candle and then reactivate the room. You don't always have to go buy stuff. You have mostly what will spiritually protect you. But activate everything. And then those of you that work, may you go through safely. May you drive home safely. And may you get the rest you need, because people that work at night, they have to rest. A lot of times, I know when I work at night, I wouldn't sleep 2 or 3 days, because as soon as I'd get off work, these children had shit I had to do. And it was like 2, 3 days. And this is back when I was a cop. It was like days I wouldn't even sleep at all. It's like when I was a cop, we had shifts of 4 days of 12s and 4 days off. And a lot of times in 4 days off, I wouldn't be off. I'd have to do other shit. And so when I had to do them 4 days, it wasn't sleeping. I had shit to do with the children, especially if I had to work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I'd drive back home, and then there's shit for me to do with the children. So, but that's what a man does, and that's what a woman does. We take responsibility. But just get your rest. Those of you have to, remember to get your rest, because it's, when you work in these kind of ways, we tend not to get enough rest, and we think we are Superman. I just gave you an example of me thinking I was Superman. And it catches up on you eventually. It catches up with you eventually, because we all need our rest. Oh, and somebody was saying, okay, let me show you this. And this is, wow, a lot of people don't talk about this. Like, if you look at my face here and you look at my face there, somebody was saying it looked like I didn't get sleep. It's like, man, even saying this shit. How do I want to say this? Because it's kind of awkward, but it's like spiritual battles. I'll say this. It's like sometimes when you be going to this spiritual stuff, there be scars. And I noticed that, like, I had this for a long time, and I'm like, where does this come from? And then this one, I'm like, whoa. And then I had to replay it. I'm like, oh shit. This is these battles I'll be going through, this dealing with this stuff, because the spiritual stuff ain't great all the time. It's, what a lot of people say, like Cypher said, can I turn it off? My son that you was just seeing earlier, that's what he says. He's like, can I turn it off? I don't want to know all this. I want to turn this off. And the thing about it is, once it's turned on, you can't turn it off. I guess that's the cruel thing about it. We don't have the opportunity, Cypher said, where they can put him back into the matrix. Once you see this, you look at sports the way they are, you look at this life and this corruption, and as I was saying, just shit like this. And even though it don't really mean shit, why? Why has this got to be in our face all the time? Why do they have to hex us all the time? Why do they want us to hex ourselves? Why do they want us all talking alike? Why does at the end of the day mean you're intelligent? That's what it means. That's what I've got. I've told the story about my ex-wife's boyfriend. Like him telling me this, to me, that's what he was saying, is trying to talk intelligent by saying at the end of the day. That's what I got out of why he used it, and the way he used it, it was like his intelligent words. And I'm not trying to cap on it. I'm just saying, in his mind, to come off intelligent, because the motherfucker know I'm intelligent, he had to use this parrot spell to sound intelligent. Why is that? Why do they want us all talking the same? They definitely want us all to dress the same. I mean, the only state you can go to dress different is Wyoming. That's about the only place you can go to dress different. Because there ain't shit in Wyoming. Even they Walmarts, there ain't shit there. Walmarts, you styling the Walmart shit in Wyoming, in Montana. Wyoming, Montana ain't the greatest places to buy clothes. You go there, they probably think you from the future. You wear some of your fly shit to one of them states, they probably like, oh my goodness, this guy's from the future. Where'd you get some shit like that from? What? Well, we've never seen those shoes before. Where Read My Soul got them Yeezys and shit. You go to Wyoming or Montana with them Yeezys and shit, you might get arrested. Hey, he did something wrong. He's wearing that shit right there. Only people doing shit wrong wears that kind of shit. Look at his feet. Look at his feet. He looks guilty. These is just shoes, motherfucker. See how he talks? He's wearing that shit and he talks rude. I was watching a video. The Awakened one showed me a video. She's talking about all the sisters want to look the same. It's like a genetic look. Where's the individuality? You know, where's the individuality? There's only one look now. All the sisters can tighten up this shit and get the pear faces, blow up the lips. You know, the sisters my age shooting all that shit in their face so there ain't no wrinkles. I'm looking at this 60-year-old woman. I mean, hers doesn't look as bad as some as I see, but it's like, you can just tell the shit is this full of that shit they shoot in their face. I'm like, wow. It ain't okay just to get old. That ain't okay no more. But why do women want to look the same? I'm not gonna say it, but I'm not gonna say her name because I want her to come on and I want to talk shit. I want her to go back and say, see, he talked about you, so I'm not gonna say her stuff. But she has one of them shapes that she wasn't born with, I'm sure. Now I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think she paid for her shape. That's all I'll say. I ain't gonna say her name, but I think she paid for her shape. When is it not okay? Now I can imagine if you want your breasts bigger, you know. But to have your body operated on to stuff more shit in your ass, I don't know. My boy told me the Indians whoop somebody's ass over a 6-pack of beer. Take them shoes there if you want to. Well, you know what happened to the Wild Boys. Hey, PJ, I told you what happened to the Wild Boys. It wasn't the gangs that took the Wild Boys out. It was the cocaine. Because the Wild Boys started, when they was on the reservation stealing, they was fine. Because the jail was like going into a hotel. But the Wild Boys wanted cocaine so bad, they started going out and doing crimes outside the reservations. And the jails they went to afterward wasn't hotels. So the cocaine took down the Wild Boys. That's the Indian tribe. You know, they was showing how the Indians was in the gang. The Indian tribes was in the gang. The native tribes, I might as well say, was in the gangs and shit. They hate each other. And they show like them. I'll tell you now, yes, we have native tribes that have casinos, but the ones that don't have casinos still live dirt poor. Now, Mystic Lake, I went to Mystic Lake before they got their casino money, and these were some of the poorest motherfuckers in the country. I dated a girl before this stuff they built out there, before they got their license. I dated a girl over there. And I remember riding around that shit like, damn. It was like, damn. I didn't know. Like I said with my ex-wife in the 80s, I drove around her shit in it was still the 80s. It was probably 80, 81. Before them casinos was put up, though. And it was like, damn. I'm looking at these little cribs and these trailers on this reservation land. And, you know, some of them, they can't, you know, Some of the natives have such a sensitivity to liquor and easily addicted to liquor. It's just where they show these people would still drink rubbing alcohol because it had alcohol. It was cheaper. Even though it kills you, these people would still drink it. So it ain't all these reservations ain't getting rich. It's some of them they still keep dirt poor. And I'll say this, get the Killing of the Flower Moon. Read that book. And you want to know how dirty these people are, how really dirty to the dirt these people are. Read that book. And how they'll pass laws where Europeans will benefit to the detriment of the melanated people. Yeah, they even know the laws is illegal, but yet they'll pass this shit. I remember Mexican women were the only ones that had the baby hair. Now all the sees the sisters with the baby hair. Yeah. I remember you telling me that. Yeah, baby hair. And I'll say baby hair. That's what, like, I remember the first time I saw it, and I told the joke before where my daughter was back there. How did the joke go? How did that song go? Edges ain't nothing with what did she say? Edges ain't nothing without the weave or some shit. And I made a joke out of that where I was trying to understand my daughter, like, what is edges? What is edges? You mean baby hair? No, edges, Dad, edges. What is edges? What does that mean? Edges. What is edges? You mean baby hair? Yeah, that's what girls called it when I was younger. They would call it baby hair. Yeah. Now they call it edges. But everybody wants to look alike. There's no uniqueness, I remember some Indian brothers I grew up with, and they was rough, rugged, and raw. And they like me, though. These mothers was always trying to joke on their hair, and they beat their ass. There you go. I mean, it's always the families, the Hampies, the Underwoods, the Staffords. I mean, it's a bunch of, this is that. And see, this is, okay, let me say this. Now, I know Sub-Zero was surprised I said Malcolm was an agent. Malcolm is the one that said we didn't know our names. Malcolm is the one that said we didn't know our names, and that's a lie. That's another lie. That's another lie. All our names, Toby. My nickname is Toby from this 1961 when I was born. My grandfather named me before I could walk. He named me Toby. That was my name until I went to college. Matter of fact, my college clippings got that name. That ain't a name from Tobias. That's an Indian name. Tawana is another Indian name. So a lot of these names, and that's why I was saying, when Tasha breaks down these names, these was names already in the Americas. So that's the lie Malcolm X told. He knew it was a lie. Thought we didn't know our names. That's a lie. Most people knew their names. They wasn't that master shit. These people already had surnames. Again, watch Tasha Z's work. She breaks it down. So that's another lie we catch Malcolm in. And that's one of you look that shit up. Well, I don't know my name. Remember he's on the TV interview? Well, what was your name? I don't know my name. Malcolm X family his mother family from Grenada. You didn't know the names in Grenada? And his daddy was a Marcus Garvey follower. So you think they ain't grooming that boy to be something? His daddy was already with them peoples. Marcus Garvey was with them peoples. He wasn't for us. He was with them peoples, educated by them peoples. He came from Jamaica. Marcus Garvey was taking people to Liberia. So don't put him on up there. He was with them peoples too. But see, that's the lie we catch Malcolm X in, that he knew better. He knew better. Well, the Moscato is empty. The bottle's pretty. So I guess it's time for me to go. How'd it go? Do, 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 do. Good night, sweetheart. It's time to go. Do, 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 do. Okay, Stacey Ray. That is so sweet. Do, 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 do. Good night, sweetheart. It's time to go. Well, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show, and I am your super funky host, Big Pontiac. May the next couple of days be smooth for you. Again, tomorrow it is in the South. So for those of you that are tying things up, getting to the end of something, this is a great time to end it. Tomorrow is a great time to end it. So if there's some kind of um, um, dateline or something you have to get done, tomorrow's a perfect day to tie it. It'll go with the energy. So it's the end of the energy. You get it done tomorrow, it'll benefit greater than trying to pull it in when the energy starts back up the day after. So just a little bit of advice from an old guy. So pretty fly for an old guy. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your super funky host with my co-host, Nobody's Fool. Let's get a hand for I wanted to mention that. Okay. I do want to mention this. One thing, now as you know, I always use the cymbals and the bells and the singing bowls. One thing you can do to remove energies too is to clap your hands. Now, there's a song called The Tighten Up by Archie Bell and the Drills. I told you, I met Archie Bell. I watched him do the Tighten Up in Trevi Fountain parking lot in Greensboro. But there's a part where it's just nothing but hand claps. And this is kind of one of my rituals I've started getting into. But a hand clap will break away things off you too. And I'm forgetting, I'm having an old man moment. Attachments. Thank you, Motivate. Attachments. Hand clapping can break attachments off you too. Hand clapping can also push away messed up energies around you. Because messed up energies Brother Bomber touched on this, they like to hang in the bathroom. That's why my strongest talisman is in my bathroom. And it gets away from that shit. I don't know if you ever took a shower and you hear some voices and shit all of a sudden. It's like, where the fuck does that shit come from? Or it's a suggestion and shit. There are things that like to be around those kind of energies, like the toilet and stuff. There are energies that like to be around there. So clapping your hands, if you ever feel that, you can clap your hands and kind of break that kind of thing. Because that's a lot of reasons why I put all these sounds, because it runs shit away. Even though I've got all these protections, if there's some kind of attachment brought in, a lot of these sounds, they don't like this shit. Like I said with magnets, there's entities that don't like magnets. So men, don't carry them around with you all the time. But hey Vernetta, thank you for joining. I know you at work. But magnets push shit away from you too. Magnets ain't bad to have around the bed, because there's a lot of entities that don't like that shit. I mean, they repel fucked up energies too. Men, if you're young, don't carry them in your pocket, because they will kind of mess with your stuff. So you don't really want to carry them in your pockets. Or if you carry them in your pocket, put them in a coat pocket or backpack. Better thing. So, well, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your super funky host, Big Pontiac. Till we meet again, say less.